Okay. Whew, okay. I mean, love it. I love the the nuggets that you're throwing out here. So you joined. You've now gone and you've gone for some upgraded training.
Yeah.
Who is the boss at KQ at the time? Is it the CEO? Who is the Naikundi?
Naikundi came later because we had who was there? We had Nyaga, Joe Nyaga. We had Dick Nyaga. We had a mzungu called Brown Davis. We had, of course, Titus Naikundi. We had recently Sebastian Mikosh.
Yes.
We had Buvin Gunze.
Yes.
Now we have...
You're like the queen. You've seen them all come and go.
We have Alan Kilavuka. So it's like every 4 or 5 years there'll be a new one, a new change.
Okay.
And different structures, head of technical, head of this, head of that.
Okay. So you do this training, and is this 87 now?
This is...
By the time you're doing this training, or is it much later?
This is 80, I joined 88, late 89, went for this upgraded Fokker. And I think was it 91, then we went for the 757. So the 757, what's the difference in it? The power, the size? Okay, the Fokkers were propeller. They were doing local. The 757 was now doing up to London and everywhere. It's a big jet, 220 seater if I remember. So from the Fokker, these local runs went to the 757. And now this was the first time you were doing London, Amsterdam, the whole works, Dubai. Before that, you were not doing any international flights? No. The way the airline works, you join as a co-pilot at the lowest fleet. Then you move up to the next higher fleet as a co-pilot. And then the next higher as a co-pilot. Then you come down to the lowest fleet as a captain. Then you work your way up. So you train all the way up as a number 2, all the way to the highest fleet. Like now, the highest we have the Dreamliner 787. The co-pilots with us now, when it's their turn, they'll go to the Embraer. You know the Embraer that goes as captain. Now they'll come up. It's a long, but it's a fair system. It's so, and what determines it? Air miles. How many hours you've flown? Not even miles. How many hours and time. We have a seniority list. So now when there's space, we need 3 more captains. The top of the co-pilots who are on the senior fleet will now come and be captains on this. So it's a very fair system. So even if you're my best friend, there's nothing you can do. Nothing you can do. And our union is very firm on this. They monitor it, they agree, we need 5 people here, 3 here. It's a fair system. And even the pilots know. You can see this guy's hours. And he has left. Now I know I'm next. When the next slot comes, it's me. I get ready. It's a fair and just system. So you were Capt. So there's nowhere you are going. Now unless they buy. Unless it's NASA. Unless they buy a 747. That's very interesting. And also it depends on the. Sometimes there's no movement in that. They're not increasing aircrafts. When there's a time Kenya Airways was buying. Yes. We bought like the 777s. They bought 3 of them, so there's a lot of movement. But once they buy, then it stabilizes. Then you stay where you are until somebody retires, like me who has gone. Now there's a slot for someone to move up. I get it. Yeah. Oh man. Okay. So I'm trying to slowly progress because as you're giving the story, I'm learning more and more questions are coming. So now is the first time you begin doing longer distance flights. Yes. So that takes a toll on the body, or is there a certain training that needs to be done? For example, going to Mombasa, well, that's a 45-minute, 1-hour flight. Going to London, we're talking a few hours. 8 hours. It's tough. I like the way he knows exact. I would not lie to you, it's tough, especially like the midnight trips. Like Paris or no, you leave here midnight. So already your body is shutting down. That's when you're really busy taking off. But what we try and do is have a nice rest in the afternoon if you can. If you can't sleep, at least keep, don't run tanga, don't run around. Rest, put your feet up, maybe read a book or something. So at least your body is rested.
I get it.
But it can be a long night. It can be a long night. And don't forget, you are busiest now 8 hours later coming to land. Because in between you are sitting, drinking your coffee. But now you are busiest when now
as you approach
really, yeah.
What are the things that a pilot, this is pretty interesting. First and foremost, before taking off, what do pilots do? So well, as passengers are coming in and we are seeing you guys.
Before takeoff, we have a lot of paperwork to go through. We get, now it's good because they send it online. So even before I leave the house here, I have all my briefing papers I can go through. By the time I get to the airport, we just have to sit and talk through with the rest of the team. But you get your, of course, where you're going, what we call a flight plan, computerized flight plan. Nairobi,
and that
London,
is generated by who?
By the system, by the operations.
Okay.
You're going to London, for example, it's 8 hours, 12 minutes. This is the routing, because we have there are airways, like you know. You find out what they have called notice to airmen. They'll tell you like Ethiopia, because there's a fight there, the Tigray, that whole zone is closed. So the airway, the routing will take you around it. Maybe Mount Etna in near Italy is exploding. Again, there's a danger area there, so you need to avoid it. Then they'll tell you in London, this runway is closed. So again, you need an alternate. Should you get to London and the airport is closed or there's bad weather, your alternate for us is Manchester. En route, you need a few places. Should you have a problem, where can I land? Rome airport is okay, is open. For Athens, Cairo, Athens, Rome is open. Later on, Geneva. So you look at all those stuff.
Yeah.
Our operations office will have gone through it. But now you as a captain and your crew will need now to double check. So at any one time, I'm here, we have an engine. So I know Rome has an issue. They're on strike. So let's go to Malta, for example. So you have all that clear. So you go through all that on the ground. Then, of course, you check the weather. London or Amsterdam, they are expecting snow tomorrow. Airport may be shut down. So we need a bit extra fuel to take us to a different destination. And then throughout the flight, you're monitoring. Then you have, of course, the aircraft. The systems are working. Maybe one or two items are unserviceable. But are they allowed by the book? You go through the book, what we call a minimum equipment list. For example, like in your car.
Kama side mirror imekataa
side mirror, but can you go without side mirror? Yeah. How do you use this one?
Yeah.
Or your signal is not working. What can I do? Maybe I'll stick my hand out.
Yeah.
But similar things. What they call minimum equipment list. This is what minimum you must have.
Engine lazima inafanya.
Yes.
Engine, we're not talking.
We are not.
We're not having a conversation about that.
Yeah. So you go through all that. Then you sit as a team, the whole crew.
And who is in the crew?
The crew is captain, co-pilot, and all the cabin crew at the back, flight attendants.
Okay.
So you give them a brief so they can plan their. We expect a lot of turbulence here after 3 hours. We expect into London, this is what we expect, so they can plan. So they can feed you guys and know, we can't give you a hot tea at this time. So you go through and emergency procedures, you refresh. In case of this, what we do, you just go through and you discuss as a team. both before takeoff and after. After, again, you sit through, how did it go? This happened. Some guy got drunk, created havoc. How did we mitigate that? How do we improve in the future? So you go through all that briefly, not it's a 15-20 minute chit chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how it works.
That is so interesting. Let me ask, what are the costs involved in, these are questions I've been holding on for years. I'm glad to sit down with the pilot. What are the costs involved in my ticket? Are you getting?
Yeah.
Why is my ticket priced at this much? What does it cost to fly a plane?
There's the basic overheads of the airline, the offices, the ticketing office. I think fuel, if I'm not wrong, is almost 30% of our costs. I mean, if I'll just give a wild example.
Yeah.
If it's $100,000 Nairobi to London, 30% of that would be fuel. So that's one of the highest costs, and it fluctuates. But
that's why there was a big issue with the pegged fuel cost with Kenya Airways, or is it?
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. But it's all those bits and pieces, and of course they have to make money.
Yeah.
There has to be a margin. I think though the biggest cost, one of the things is not straight. It's not linear.
Yes.
There's the issue of supply and demand. Some of these places are very expensive because, like a place like Entebbe, the tickets are quite high. Joburg is quite high. The reason, and London is probably not so high. The reason is there are many ways to get to London. You can go through Doha with Qatar. You can go through Emirates, Dubai. You can go through Turkish. You can go through Amsterdam with Air France. You can go through with KLM through Amsterdam or Paris with. But Joburg, take it or leave it. Either you walk or you go backwards. Means you go to Ethiopia first, which is to the north. Then you fly all the way to Joburg. So a bit of the cost is supply and demand. The airline can get you because you have no choice.
I get it.
Like some of these African destinations, like Freetown, they are very high. You have no choice. You have to go there for a meeting. This is the cost.
And this is the flight.
This is the flight. This is one. Maybe there's one after 2 days. So if you miss this one, you're on your own. Yeah.
When you started, now this is back. I love the way we're fluctuating up and down. When you started in 88,
88.
Is Ethiopian Airlines, who is KQ's rival?
Who is KQ?
Who was rivaling against KQ, against Kenya Airways? Like, who are the competitors? Let me ask that. Not rivaling. Who are the competitors?
Ethiopia and South Africa have always been. I think our biggest one is Ethiopia because they're in the same region, and they fly to the same places. Actually, a lot more than us. They have a lot more equipment, so they can actually even what I was saying, supply and demand.
Yeah.
They can charge lower. Even today, if you're going somewhere, KQ, Ethiopia will probably charge you less. But then you have that headache of you have to go Nairobi Addis,
Exactly.
2 hours, wait for 3-4 hours to get the next flight, then you go to Addis, London. It might cost you less, but there's that whole extra time. South Africa was very strong. Now, of course, unfortunately, they collapsed. Over my years, there have been many regional airlines that just died off. I think Uganda was quite okay. Tanzania, I think they're just waking up now. There was a huge one in West Africa that was made up by a few West African countries that died off. We have been lucky that we went private. I think we would have died off. Airlines don't make money per se.
Explain this to people when you say airlines.
Don't make money. The costs are so high that you find Kenya Airways may break even or most of the time lose money. But through the airline, the country makes money. When you bring 240 people from New York that flight might be a loss-making flight. But that would be 200 people in the Serenas, in the Pan-Afric, or in all these hotels.
The gateways.
All that money is coming here.
I get it.
Also, when you go to like Europe, the belly of the aircraft is full. Flowers, vegetables. So all those farmers have been able to sell their produce, and all that money is coming back here. So that flight, as it is, may not actually make money, but overall it makes money. If you see what I'm saying.
I get it.
Yeah.
I get it.
A lot of airlines, even big guys like Emirates, they are backed up by the government, but the bottom line, when you actually get to it, they may not make that much money. But Dubai, because every hotel is full. And how do they get full? Emirates has to bring them in. And all you guys are Dubai shopping, all that money is staying there.
That's the power of a national carrier.
Yes.
That's the power of having your own airline.
Correct.
Yep.
So it's essential for it to keep running, because you can imagine the farmers, the hotels, everything, if it was to shut down.
That's so huge when you say it from that perspective, especially because part of the conversations have been about the loss of the airline, the KQ airline. But even before, we'll get to that later. At this time, it is the pride of Africa. By the time that you're on it, in fact, that's where that tag came through. And as a student, I remember constantly, even though it was SAA, nothing would make me happy like going with a KQ and having a Tusker.
Pride of Africa.
Exactly. So I fully understand what it is that you're saying. So let's talk about then a bit more of your growth. Let's say early 90s. When does your first child come into the picture?
Yes. Yeah. 1990.
1990. So
December.
That's 15. When you become a father. Hey, that's in a few days.
In a few days, yeah. She's coming home this weekend.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
How does that change your life?